Hello horror fans, and once again welcome back to the Scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos, the place where you're always welcome to share a place by our digital campfire, scatter some dust into the middle, and welcome to the Midnight Society. Wait a minute, sorry, that's the wrong one, isn't it? I mean, what's going on guys? As always, I'll be your spirit guide Jack Finch as we peek back into the strange world of R.L Stine, and this time, shock in horror as we take a look at the top 5 scariest Goosebumps monsters. Roll the clip. I hope you enjoyed our recent dive into the scariest Goosebumps books ever. It hit me with a nostalgia wave to see how many of you guys were fellow fans of the series, and was great to see that the classics remain classics for a reason. Here we're going to get a little more specific though, and we're going to be taking a look at the monsters as a whole rather than the story. Well, before we dive into that, you know how it is guys. If you're a fan of this video, Goosebumps, R.L Stine, or just top 5 scary videos in general, then go ahead and hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell so you can stay up to date with our latest and most terrifying uploads. Also, if you'd like to get in touch with the creative team here at Top 5 Scary, then make sure to pay a visit to the info box below. Let's get started, shall we? Kicking off at number 5, Slappy. Of course it has to be Slappy. Who else could kick off a list like this but the demonic ventriloquist dummy that made his first appearance back in 1993 at the end of the classic Goosebumps tale, Night of the Living Dummy. Do you remember the words Karu, Mari, Odonna, Lomu, Molanu, Karano? Well, if you do, you and I are now one. Oh, wait, that's just for Slappy. Oh god, what have I done? As the novels tell, Slappy the dummy was carved from the wood of an ancient coffin by a demonic sorcerer, and when the sorcerer eventually died, he placed his soul inside the dummy, hoping that one day someone will say the magic words written on a card kept in the wooden dummy's pocket, which, well, let's pretend I didn't just say them, right? Because there's a reason that this highly evil, sadistic wooden jerk is so feared. Let's leave him be. Swinging in at number 4, King Jelly Jam. Maybe it's just my innate disdain for authority, but the overarching monster in the horror at Camp Jelly Jam was the stuff of nightmares for me as a kid. Also, it was just accentuated by how downright weird and creepy that whole book was, bookmarked by the book's cover art, and how messed up Camp Counselor Buddy was. Now, that guy's a creep. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. King Jelly Jam, the giant amorphous purple blob that was born from the result of a careless camper leaving a cup of pudding in a nearby radiation-infested cavern, which is kind of terrifying enough in itself, but, well, he isn't really scary. Yeah, he's gross, he's a little bit disturbing, but the real fear is in how downright weird that entire book is. You've got brainwashed camp counselors, you've got enslaved children constantly scrubbing a giant purple blob who periodically causes slugs to sprout out of their skin. Hell, even R.L Stine knows it. In a Reddit AMA back in 2016, author claimed that King Jelly Jam was the grossest character he'd ever written, which still hasn't been topped to this day. Gross, dudes. Next up at number 3, the lawn gnomes, because there's nothing more terrifying than a horde of creepy looking garden gnomes, which are otherwise completely harmless until they come to life during the cover of darkness. Seriously, I think it was a little bit overlooked how absolutely terrifying these guys are within the Goosebumps mythos. That's even without discussing the fact that they're practically immortal, malevolent, and find it quite amusing to trick a group of children to technically signing their own death warrant. In the 1995 novel Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, the 34th novel in the original series, the lawn gnomes reveal to the main characters Joe and Mandy that they're mischief gnomes who were kidnapped from their native forest and sold into slavery. They reveal that they can't help causing trouble, it's in their nature, and if the kids help them with their quest of freeing 6 of their friends from a scary basement, they'll leave them alone forever in peace with their blessing. Well, turns out that's a complete lie, and it's not 6 of their gnomish friends, it's 600, and the lawn gnomes ambush the children in an attempt to rip them to pieces. Yeah, the kids turn out to be fine, but if that's not pure evil, I don't know what is. Coming in at number 2, Gruul. And you might be thinking, what the hell is that? But you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it came from beneath the sink. Yes. Exactly, that one. I'm not sure if it's because R.L Stine seemed to hit on so many familiar fears that made his works so successful, but he always seemed to derive terror from the most unsuspecting places, like the space underneath the sink, because as we all know, places like that were terrifying when we were kids. Behind cupboards, in dark crawl spaces, that's the stuff where evil lingers, right? Well, there's nothing more evil than an ancient mythical creature that resembles an old kitchen sponge. As we saw in the Goosebumps TV run too, which had some awesome low budget special effects, may I add, the Gruul had wrinkly light brown skin that would change colour depending on its mood. When it was angry, it turned purple, bordered by its terrifying red demonic eyes. What made it even more terrifying is that we knew nothing about the Gruul other than the fact that it couldn't be killed by force or by any violent means of any kind. The one thing that would kill it, well, you had to love it. You had to show it genuine, unrequited love where it would shrink into a tiny ball and then explode. And well, that's just so confusing, I don't even know what to think anymore. And finally, at our number one spot, Keith. And damn straight, because I don't care what you say, Keith is still as terrifying as he was way back when in those formative horror fan days. As I said in our previous Goosebumps video, Keith is messed up, guys. First shown in 1997's I Live in Your Basement, Keith is a monster with the ability to warp reality as we know it and also transform into anything he likes, bending existence itself at his beck and call. Let's not say this lightly, in the events of the first I Live in Your Basement, Keith's goal was to make Marco his slave, not kill him or whatever, but trap him into a life of blob-based servitude. A threat that weighs on our protagonist Marco in a really disturbing way, actually. Keith constantly calls him up like a little weirdo, taunting Marco with threats of entrapment in his own basement. Keith's appearance was as a yellow blob made up of human organs and connected by webs of purple veins, and in his human form he could puke up his own guts until he was inside out. Seriously, in the book at one point he does this while screaming his lungs out, staring into Marco's eyes as his own heart passes over his teeth. Seriously, this creepy little guy can get out and stay out. I'm done with Keith. Well, what do you guys think? Who did we miss from this list? Leave your thoughts in the comment box down below. Cheers for sticking around all the way to the end. If you'd like to continue on with your Goosebumps binge, then feel free to hit that playlist floating shortly above. As per usual, I've been your host Jack Finch. You've been watching Top 5 Scary Videos, and until next time, you take it easy.